Hello everyone. أهلا بيكم في تعلم الإنجليزية. Learn English. So today we're talking about a serious topic, which is accidents. And we're still exploring how we can speak about the world around us. So let's start and look what we're going to learn in detail. So the first thing that we're going to learn about is vocabulary, and the vocabulary that we have today is the vocabulary for talking about accidents. And we're going also to look at grammar, and our focus for grammar today is simple past versus past continuous, so we can describe what happens exactly during an accident. And also we're going to look at skills, and for skills today we have listening and we have reading. So let's start together and let's look how we can start and what we're going to start with. So as usual, we start with something called a brain teaser. And for those who don't remember what a brain teaser is an activity that makes us think and try to activate our English part of the brain. So we try to think in English and we try to activate our thinking. So let's start and let's take a look at our brain teaser now. The brain teaser that we have today is we're looking at this making sentences. So we have lots of words here and we're supposed to make sentences out of these words. The important thing is we cannot use anything out of these words. So we're only allowed to use these words, no more. So the challenge is making as many sentences as we can using these words and not coming up with words from our own mind. So you can't bring a word outside the list that we have here. So let's take a look and let's see what sentences and how many sentences you can make. I will give you a second so you can take a look. So as usual, if you remember, any sentence needs subject, verb, and an object. So try to locate your subjects, your verbs, and objects so you can start making your sentences. So take a look here. We have different subjects. So like he, we also have you, she, they. So we have different subjects here. And we have different verbs. So verbs like can, look, and we also have don't. We have verb to be in is, and we have also be as verb to be in the infinitive. We also have dress, dogs, trousers, which can work as a subject and as an object. So we have a collection. So let's start. I'm going to show you examples of the sentences that I try to make. You can make your own sentences. You don't have to be connected to these ones that I will show you. You can make your own sentences or check if you have any similar sentences to the ones that I created. So let's take a look. The first sentence I made was, I used this, I used look, and then I had there, and then I had verb to be, which is are. So look, there, are, and then I said dogs, and then I wanted to make it long, so I used the preposition under and then the chair. So this makes my sentence like, look, there are dogs under the chair. So this is how I created my first sentence. So I used look, there are dogs under the chair. So this is how we created it. Take a look and see what else can you make, or if you can come up with a sentence like this. It can be a long sentence or a short sentence. Don't worry about it, but try to combine them together, put them in one unit. So my second sentence, I'm thinking of don't If I say don't, after don't I need a verb. So don't wear. Don't wear these. And if we're going to speak about something that we wear, we have jeans or trousers. I'll choose trousers. So don't wear these trousers. This is my second sentence. The coming sentence, let's try to make it as long as possible. So we're going to try to put a long sentence here. Okay, so let's try, and we can start with a normal regular subject like what do you think we can start with? We can start with she, that would be fine, or he. Let's start with he. He, and then is as my verb. If I want to make it long, I can use a preposition like he is between. He's between what? What can we put in there? He's between, I can say the dogs. To make it longer, we need and. So he's between the dogs and the, what else? I can use the elephant, speaking about animals. So he is between the dogs and the elephant, and this is my next sentence. He's between the dogs and the elephant. Okay, so we can make the next sentence, it doesn't have to be long. We can make it a shorter one. So let's see what else we can do there. My next sentence is, what can we find in here? Okay, I want something as a starter. So trousers, chair, behind. What do you think? Okay, I can start with careful. So careful, I need to give a warning. So careful. What do you think the warning can be? Okay. Careful. This elephant can find you. This is a nice warning. Careful. This elephant can find you. Okay. Or I can have a normal sentence starting with I. I can what? I can see. That would work. So I can see. What can I see? What do you think I can see? I can see I can see a dress. So I can see a dress. Let's make it longer. I can see a dress behind this hat. Or I can see a dress behind that hat. Both would work. So I can see a dress behind that hat. So this is my next sentence. I can see a dress behind that hat. Or I can say I have dogs. I have dogs. Or I can make it better. We can make it a bit longer. I have, do we have beautiful or any adjective? Careful. So I have careful dogs. I have careful dogs. Or we can make another sentence which is I can, let's use a verb that we didn't use before. I can make, for example, what can I make here? I can make dogs. Do you think it would work? No, this is not the best idea. So I can make a chair, works. I can make a dress, that would be okay. I can make, what else can we make here? Yeah, I can make a t-shirt. So all options, or a shirt, it's not a t-shirt, it's just a shirt. So I can make a shirt, all options would be valid and fine. So by this, we see how we can spot subjects and we can create sentences. So this is just to activate our brain. So let's now start and look at our first part. As we said, we're going to look for vocabulary related to accidents. And when we say an accident, it doesn't have to be a crash. Accidents, anything that might go wrong. So we can speak about very simple things or we can speak about very serious things. In both cases, these are called accidents. So, for example, maybe forgetting my mobile at home and leaving, this might be an accident that happens to me. Or if we're talking about a car crash, this is another accident. So accidents can be things that go wrong. Okay, so right now, let's look at some pictures and let's think together what might be wrong in here. What went wrong in these situations? We have number one, we have this picture. We have the second picture in here, number 3, and number 4. So, what do you think went wrong in these situations? These pictures are representing what? So, here, if we're talking about number 1, what might be the problem here? We're talking about drop and break something. You might drop and break a mug, a cup, a plate, your mobile, so you drop and break it. So this is the first accident that might happen. You drop something and you break it. If we're talking about the first picture or the fourth picture here, if you see the cup here, so here we're talking about spill. Spill and damage something. So spill when we're talking about a liquid that gets out by accident. So we can talk about spill coffee, tea, whatever. So spill, and then this liquid damages something. So spill water on my mobile, spill tea on the computer. So we're talking about different things that we can spill on different other things that we can damage. And we also have this picture here, or if we're talking about this picture here, we're talking about forgetting something. I might forget my wallet and my mobile. I might forget my keys inside the car or forgetting my keys at home. So you forget something. Or if we're talking about this picture specifically, if I forget it in the park or if I forget it outside home, most probably I lose it. So lose important or valuable things. Okay, so lose something important or valuable. Here we're talking about mobile, we're talking about a wallet. Most probably if you forget it in public, you will not find it again. So these are the things that might go wrong. So, as we said, today we're talking about unfortunate events in general. We're talking about things that are not working out, things that go wrong, or situations that end up in a bad way. So right now, we're going to look at the skills. We're going to do some listening. So people are talking about bad situations that happen to them. Let's listen together and let's try to complete the statements. So let's start listening here and let's see what went wrong with him. So listen and try to complete the missing words.
Are you having a bad week? Sean Davis.
Actually, yes. I was going to work on the train Monday morning, and I was talking to this woman. I guess I wasn't paying attention and I missed my stop. I was half an hour late for a meeting with my new boss.
All right. So here we have Sean Davis talking about the problem that he has faced. Did you get the missing words? Okay. So the first one we're talking about, actually, I was going to work on the train Monday morning. So here, I was going to work on the train Monday morning, and I was talking to this woman. I guess I wasn't paying attention and I missed my stop. I was half an hour late for a meeting with my new boss. I was going to work, was talking, wasn't paying attention, and it was my new boss. So, what went wrong with him? Why his day was bad? Because basically he was late for his meeting with his boss because he forgot his stop. Okay, this is the first person and the first bad or unfortunate event. Here we have another one. We have this lady who's going to speak about a bad day. So again, let's listen, try to complete what went wrong with her.
Julia Chen.
Definitely. My friend accidentally deleted all my music files when she was using my computer. Actually, she was trying to help me. She was downloading stuff from my phone and something went wrong. I spent hours on the phone with tech support.
All right. So, is she having a bad day? Yes. What exactly happened? Let's try to remember what she said and let's find out the missing words. Okay, so is she having a bad day? Definitely. So Julia said, my friend accidentally deleted all my music files when she was using my computer. Actually, she was trying to help me. She was downloading stuff from my phone and something went wrong. I spent hours on the phone with tech support. So, deleted, was using, was trying, was downloading, and spent. So, this is Julia who got all her files deleted and she had to spend a lot of time with technical support. Tech support means technical support. Okay, so this is the second person who had an unfortunate event. It's not very serious, but she wasn't very happy about deleting all her files. And we have another person in here with another unfortunate event. Let's listen again, try to complete why was he having a bad day.
Roberto Moreno.
Yeah, kind of. A couple of days ago, a friend and I were trying to look cool in front of some girls at the mall. We weren't looking, and we walked right into a glass door. I was so embarrassed.
All right, and this is Roberto. So, for Roberto, he said, yeah, kind of. A couple of days ago, a friend and I were trying to look cool in front of some girls at the mall. We weren't looking and we walked right into a glass door. So they hit the glass door. I was so embarrassed. If you notice, so all the situations that we're talking about in here, we're talking about things that are happening or things that already happened. So all situations that we're talking about, or all three different situations, talked about things that finished. So they are telling a story that happened in the past. Okay, so right now, let's look together at some more accidents and let's think what happened. Okay, so here we have Mike. Mike was riding in the rain. So he was riding his bike, of course. So Mike was riding in the rain when? What do you think happened to him when he was riding in the rain? Okay. So this is what happened when he fell off his bike. So he was riding in the rain when he fell off his bike. So we're talking about another unfortunate incident or unfortunate event here. So let's look at some more problems that might happen. So here we have Rob. Rob was walking in the park with the girl when? What do you think the problem that he faced? What is the unfortunate event? He's walking in the park with a girl when his girlfriend saw him. So this is a very unfortunate event for him. So we're talking about another type of accidents here. And we have one more. They were playing soccer. Do you remember the meaning of soccer? It's the same like football. So they were playing soccer when? Okay, what do you think happened? So the ball hit him. So they were playing soccer when the ball hit him. Okay, so here we're talking about things that all happened again, accidents that happened in my past, and I'm trying to explain the details for what happened. So we're talking about accidents while playing, accidents while we are out, or accidents while even riding your bike. So we have different situations in which we might face different accidents. Now we're going to look at a simple story in which people are talking about what happened during an accident. So we have this here, and the story is saying it was 9 o'clock in the morning. Everybody in town was doing their work, but suddenly pew. So a car crashed into a tree. Everyone here is going to try to say what he was doing during this accident. So everybody shared their news with other people. So they said, when the accident happened, and here we have the first person, I was doing my homework. So when the accident happened, I was doing my homework. And somebody else said, when the accident happened, I was playing my guitar. And another person shared, when this accident happened, we were having a great party. And somebody else said, when the accident happened, I was looking around. So different things were happening and everybody stopped what he was doing when the accident took place. And we have some other people who said, I was repairing my car when the accident happened. Or, when the accident happened, I was waiting for my friend and reading the newspaper. This is the gentleman in here. He's talking about what happened exactly. So when the accident happened, I was waiting for my friend and reading the newspaper. And another person would say, I was just working in my office when the accident happened. Do you see any repeated structure? They are all using the same thing. We have was an ing, was an ing, or were an ing. So we have a repeated pattern here when we speak about an event that happened with another. Let's take a look again and somebody else is talking, I was mending the roof, or I was fixing the roof when the accident happened. So we're still talking about two different events, and we see ing is repeated here. We're going to speak about it in detail, and let's see if it's going to repeat again. When the accident happened, we were learning English. So the guys in the class here were learning English when the accident happened. And somebody else would say, I was playing the flute when the accident happened. She was playing music. And I was making a phone call when this accident happened. When the accident happened, I was making a phone call. So all these people are talking about things that they did in the past, and they are talking about these actions stopped by another. So let's take a look and see what other problems, what other unfortunate events that might happen to people while they are at their daily life. So let's look at these people and see what are they doing and what kind of problems they might face, or what unfortunate events might happen to them. So here we have this gentleman. What is he doing? What is the verb here? We have different verbs. We have repair, fix, mend, all would be fine. And we have a chef, and let's look, what's he doing? This is chop. When we cut something, it's called cut or chop. So let's take a look at the problems that might happen. So what happened with them? If we're talking about this gentleman who is repairing, what do you think happened to him? So he electrocuted himself. So the problem here is that he was repairing the television when he electrocuted himself, like got an electrocuting power, so he got a shock. So this is the problem that he faced. And we have the chef. The verb is chop. So when he speaks about the problem, when he speaks about what happened, he would say, I was chopping vegetables. I was chopping vegetables when I cut my hand with a knife. So here we're talking about the problem that they faced. So now this will take us to our grammar point. Our grammar point, as we said, we're going to look at past simple that we talked about a lot, and we're going to look at something else which is called past continuous. So here we're talking about something that happened in the past, something that is finished. But we're not talking about just one action in the past. We're talking about two things that happened in the past. One of them took time, or one of them was taking a duration, and then something happened in the middle of it and interrupted it. So let's look at it at these situations here. Let's look at the situation for the chef. Here we have the action of chop. So what do you think took time? If we're talking about the time for chop, cut, 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 cut. Chop, chop, chop. In the middle of this chop, something happened that stopped it. What happened in the middle? The cut. So this cut happened, so it stopped the chopping. So if we're talking about the long action, if we're talking about something that took long time, we will say, I was chopping. So the thing that took long time, I put verb to be in the past and we put ing. So if we're talking about verb to be and ing, again, this is the idea of continuous. So here we're looking at a continuous tense. If we're talking about something that is happening now, this is a present continuous tense, like I am wearing red or I am speaking with you. So we're talking about now. If we're talking about something that already finished, so we're talking about past continuous tense. And this is the new tense that we have for today. So our new tense is called the past continuous tense, and it usually comes with another tense. So it usually comes with past simple. So we speak about things that took time. So things that take time, we put it in past continuous. And then we're talking about something that interrupts, something that stops this action, and this is the past simple that we normally know. So I was chopping vegetables when I cut my hand with the knife. So this chopping was stopped. What stopped it? The cut. So when I cut my hand with the knife, this is what happened. So that's how we speak about any incident or any unfortunate events. So let's take a look at something else here. And let's try together thinking how we can make our sentences. So let's think of the verb that we have here. So we have this gentleman. What's he doing? So the verb is iron. If you remember, when we speak about household chores, what we do when we put the clothes straight and we make them nice and neat, we call iron the clothes. And we have another lady here. And the action she's doing, she's putting food for the dog. So when I put food or when I give food to someone, it's called feed. Feed. So these are the two situations that we have, or the two actions that we have, iron and feed. What dangers do you think might happen to them? So what happened? Here we have iron. What's the problem? Burn. Yeah, so here we have a burn. And here we have feed. And what happened? It's a bite. So let's together look what happened exactly. So he was ironing when he burnt his arm. So the long action here is the ironing. Iron, 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 long time, ironing. What stopped it is he burnt his arm. Or if we're talking about the lady, she was feeding her dog when it bit her leg. So the past of bite, bit. So when it bit her leg. So we're talking about a lot or different unfortunate events, and we look at how we can speak about them here. So to summarize what we're talking about, or to recap the idea, here basically we're talking about anything that might happen in the past. We're talking about past events that might go wrong. In this case, we're talking about an action that takes long time, and this action, the one that takes the long time, we put it in past continuous, which means subject, verb to be, and then the main verb with extra ing. So here we're talking verb to be. In the past, either was or were. He or she or it was, they, we, you, or any plural were. And then we have the second action that interrupted it in simple past normally. Let's do some practice for that. So let's take a look at some people who are having a conversation about an unfortunate event that happened to them. Let's together see who they are, what happened to them, how the conversation goes. Let's start and take a look. Okay, so let's now do some practice for what we were talking about. We're going to look at some people who had some unfortunate events. And we will see how they can speak about this in a conversation and how people can give them some advice or recommendation when we hear that something bad happened to our friends. So, first of all, we have the first person here. So we're going to have some background information about him. Here we have, he is Carlos. He hit his finger with a hammer and he should put bandage. He shouldn't move his finger. So we have background information about him. What his name is, it's Carlos. What was wrong? Hit his finger with a hammer. And the advice or recommendation is put bandage and don't move it. So this is the whole background information. Now let's look at all this information and how we can put it in the middle of a conversation. So we have Carlos here. He's talking about what happened to him. He's telling his friend. So he said, I was trying to fix the chair. I was trying to fix the chair. We're talking about something that took a long time. So I was trying to fix the chair. Fix, fix, fix. In the middle of this, I hit my finger with a hammer. So what stopped fixing the chair is hitting himself with a hammer. So I was fixing the chair and I hit my finger with a hammer. So this is Carlos talking about his problem. And we have his friend. When his friend listened to this, the first reaction we have when you hear something bad is like, oh dear, oh God, if you remember reacting to bad situations. So, oh God, I'm so sorry. So this is showing sympathy. And then you should put bandage and shouldn't move your finger. So when we hear somebody talking about something bad or something unfortunate that happens to him, we normally sympathize and then give advice. So he sympathized by saying, oh God, I'm sorry. And then he gave advice by saying you should or you shouldn't. So you should put bandage and you shouldn't move your finger. So this is the first situation. This is the first recommendation. Let's take a look at another person with another problem. So the background information that we have his name. He is Pedro and he slipped on the ice and he should be careful. So the name Pedro, the problem, slipped on the ice, and the recommendation or the advice is should be careful. Let's look at the conversation. Let's see how they can talk about it together. So we have him talking to his friend again, telling him the situation exactly. I was making some iced coffee, so making the coffee took time. So I put it in past continuous because this one took time. I was making some iced coffee and in the middle of making, I dropped a piece of ice on the floor. So making, in the middle of this, he dropped it. I didn't notice and slipped and fell while I was walking. Walking, in the middle of walking, slip. So he slipped, which stopped the walking. So the reaction would be, oh dear. So first of all, showing sympathy and then giving advice. You should be more careful. So showing sympathy, oh dear, I am sorry, both would be fine. Oh God is good as well. Okay, by this, we have looked at how we can speak about something bad that happened to us in the past and how we can use past continuous and past simple to explain it and the reactions that we should give. Let's do some more practice for that. Let's do some more practice for past continuous and past simple. Now, let's do some practice for both past simple and past continuous, as we said. Right now, we're going to look at some sentences and we will think together what's better to use. Is it better to use past simple or past continuous based on the meaning? So we're going to try to identify which part of the sentence took a long time and which part of the sentence interrupted and which tense can be used in here. Let's look at the first sentence. So here we have my best friend, while I was shopping in town. This is the first sentence. And the options that we have are was seeing, saw, see, or sees. So here we're talking about something that took a long time and something that interrupted it, something that happened in the middle. Which one took the long time? The shopping or the seeing? So normally we're talking about shopping, 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 shopping. In the middle of this shopping, the action, which is see, happened. So let's look at the options that we have and see whether it works or not. Was seeing, so it doesn't work because we're not talking about the long action here, so this one doesn't work. And we have saw. I believe it's good because we're talking about this action in the past. Here we have to present, and it doesn't work like this because we're talking about situation that happened in the past. So the best option that we have is so. So the sentence is, I saw my best friend while I was shopping in town. This is how it works. And here we have, while he, a bath, the phone rang. So we're talking about something long time, bath, bath, bath. In the middle of this bath, the telephone rang. So the options we have: had, having, were having, or was having. He had a bath, the telephone rang. It would be okay if I am not talking about two actions that happened together and one interrupted the other. It would be okay if I am talking about something and after that another thing happened, like a series of events. And this is not a series. We're talking about two things that are connected. Having doesn't work because simply we're talking about present. Were having, it's not okay because here we have he. After he, we don't put where. So the last option, was having. He was having, yes, this is the best option. He was having a bath when the telephone rang. And this is how it works. So we're talking about something that took a long time, which is was having, and the middle of this, the telephone rang, which interrupted the bath. Let's look at the question form now. What when the lights suddenly went out? What they were doing? Are they doing? They were they doing? And was they doing? Okay, let's look at all the options and see which one would work. What they were doing, this will not work because in the question, as we said before, after the question word, it's always the helping verb. And they here is not a helping verb. So this wouldn't work because this is the sentence format, not the question. So in the question, verb before the pronoun that we have or before the noun. So this one wouldn't work. And the next one, are they doing? We have the verb first, yes, but we're still talking about the past and this is present. So that's why it doesn't work as well. Were they doing or was they doing? So these two options, we're talking about was and were. If we're talking about they, was will not work because we can't say was and they together. This is not correct. So the correct option is were. So what were they doing when the lights went out? So what the action that took time and that stopped by light went out. For the next one, TV when he came in. So the options, I were watching TV, I watching TV, I was watching TV, or I watched TV. Okay, so here we have two valid options. The first one is I, after I, was is not, where is not okay. So where is not okay because after I, never where. I watching, it doesn't work because I don't have a helping verb and we have ing. I was watching, this is okay. Because I, after it, the helping verb is was, and we have the ing, it's okay. And we have I watched TV when he came in. Both options would be valid, but the meaning would be different. So the first one, we're talking about action, took time. I am sitting, watching TV. So I'm talking about the past. I was sitting, I was watching TV when he came. So I stopped the TV because he came. This is the first meaning when I use past continuous. The second one, I watched TV when he came. This has a different meaning. I do nothing, he comes first, and then I start watch TV. So if I used past simple, this would mean that after he came, I watched. If I use past continuous, this means that watch after he came, and then I stopped watching because he came. So the difference in the tense used gave me difference in the meaning. So if I used past simple and past simple, this means that he came first and then I started watching. If I use past continuous, this means that I watched first and then he came second and stopped the watching. Okay, so if we're talking about was watching, this is the tense that we are talking about. By this, we have looked at talking about unfortunate events or talking about accidents and things that might go wrong. We've looked at reading. We've read the story in which people talked about the accident and what they did or what they were doing while the accident happened. And we've also looked at past simple and past continuous and how they can help me speak about what happened in the past and talking more about accidents. And we've seen how we can sympathize and how we can also give advice. By this, we have reached the end of our episode today. So thank you very much for watching and see you next time. Bye.